Welcome to Saving Grace Lutheran Church's YouTube channel, Saving Grace Lutheran Church, located in Mobile, Alabama at 1500 Snow Road. And we are putting together again our series on hurricane preparedness. Today we are on our 5th video in that particular series. And as usual, our co-host today is Commander Bob Kaler from the U.S. Coast Guard, retired.
Thank you, sir. We started our series with an introduction to hurricane preparedness, and then we followed that with hurricane safety and interruptions to utilities. Today we're going to talk a little more about our house. And we'll try to bust a couple of myths and replace them with truths.
Sounds great. Don't forget, as we go through these videos, we touch a lot on Mobile County and Baldwin County here in Alabama, but the concepts that we are going through can apply anywhere in hurricane country.
That's right. And I'd like to start today with a shout out. Thank you to those who have watched the videos and provided feedback. It not only helps us do better, but it's also just plain encouraging.
Sounds good. Let's get started.
We've talked several times in previous videos about your need to think well in advance about how and when you'll decide to evacuate or hunker down. No matter if you decide to stay or go, there are things you'll want to do to prepare for the storm. We've talked about some of them, but let's focus a few minutes on a piece of personal property that for many of us is our biggest investment. It's the house we live in. A tip that people used to give was to leave a window open a crack. The intent was to keep your house from imploding due to increased pressure outside. Well, that's a myth. You never want to create openings in your home to allow water and wind to get in. Another tip that people used to give was to tape up your windows. The intent was to keep them from breaking in the wind, and therefore keep the rain from coming in and damaging walls, floors, ceilings, carpet, furniture. Well, that's also a myth. In recent decades, they've actually built houses in wind tunnels, which then huffed and puffed and blew the house down, so to speak. They found that taping windows before a storm won't help, and it could do more damage. In fact, people have actually been killed while standing behind taped windows. Plus, most windows that are broken are from inadvertent projectiles rather than the force of the wind. A good tip is to spend your preparation time on preventing those projectiles by going around your yard and securing everything that can be picked up by the wind. Most things like patio furniture, yard tools, trash barrels, kids' toys, wind chimes, bird feeders, and even the dog's dish can be brought inside or tied down. Both of the things we just talked about involved windows. They are one of your house's vulnerable spots and deserve you considering the effort and cost of protecting them. The cheapest route will usually be plywood. If the house is sided with wood or similar materials, you can cover the entire window opening and attach the plywood with screws. If the house is sided with stucco or masonry, you can cut the plywood to fit inside the window opening and get one of several different brands of spring steel clips to use on the edges of the plywood. While these methods are cheap, they are not necessarily easy, in that your pre-storm and post-storm activities will involve strenuous labor. If you want professionally made and/or installed protection for your windows, there are many different styles and a wide variance in prices. There are also many different local and regional contractors to choose from. The number of choices in window protection means you might want to study a little before you go buy any do-it-yourself materials or call a professional for an estimate. These are some buyer's guides that might help you in that regard. After we started this video series, we became aware of a piece of information that we might have included when we talked about hurricane safety or interruptions to your electrical utilities. Since we didn't have it then, here it is today. Do you know what was the highest cause of death in last year's Hurricane Ida in New Orleans? It wasn't water or wind or some other hazard we've already touched on. It was hyperthermia. You see, the power was off in much of the city for a week or more, and people, mostly elderly, were staying locked up in their apartments without air conditioning. Keep yourself and your household hydrated, limit your physical activity, stay in the shade if possible, and open your doors and windows for ventilation. Also, if you have family or friends or neighbors who might be especially vulnerable to the heat, check on them often. And remember, the strongest warning sign for hyperthermia: if someone should be sweating but is not, that person is in serious danger. That's it for today. If you have any comments or questions on this presentation or suggestions for future presentations, you can send them to savinggracexo@gmail.com.
Thank you, Commander Bob, for all that great information, and thanks for watching today. Stay tuned. We're going to have another video coming up in our series on hurricane preparedness. Don't forget, like the video, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and check out all of the content that we have and the resources for hurricanes at savinggracemobile.org. We'll see you soon.